Welcome to Awakening Wednesday. So beautiful to hear Linda playing Calling the Angels, as I believe the angels were playing with us, with our sound, with the awareness of recognizing that staying in the blessed place, no matter what's going on, there's always a solution. So right now we're calling the angels around our universe. We're calling the divine healers and wisdom-wise teachers and all of the spiritual divine essence that is here for us, absolutely working, being, doing all that we are. And we send this blessing out to the universe. We send this blessing around our global community. We send this divine love, the light of love, the light of joy, the light of magnificence around each and every one. We just breathe this in. We breathe in the breath of God. We know that with each breath that we take, it is the divine breath of the universe that is guiding and leading us on. So this breath, just take the breath right now with me. Take the breath. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me and resting in the joy of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me and resting in the joy of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. All is well. Oh, thank you, Linda. That was beautiful. Such a wonderful evening, and we have an amazing gathering in store tonight. And because we started in our divine time with sound, we will allow that to be what it is. And I was going to skip this song, but I'm not going to, because I think I want to do it. Because in life, do you really skip anything? Do you avoid it? And if you do, is it still there when you come back? Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. So I am a stone. I'm rough and I'm grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. But when I close my and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes the world will lie. Oh, never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you, dear Lord, is where I wanna stay. I wanna feel your roughest edges wash away. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. That when the sunset comes, my prayer will be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am. See, I'm not what I used to be. in your hands. Ooh, I'm a stone and I'm smooth in your hands. I love that song. Beautiful song. Beautiful recognition of the divine in everything. And just like that, here at Universal Spirit Center, you know, we equipped you with a lot of different classes and different opportunities for you to expand your consciousness, for you to push yourself beyond where you know you can be and become smoother in the hands of consciousness, smoother in the way you live. And look at there. We have the wonderful, magnificent. Who's that lady over there? Margot and Laura. How are you, Margot?
Wonderful. Thanks.
You know, this is really an honor to have you here. Margot is a medium, amongst other things. She is a spiritual teacher, a minister, a spiritual minister as well, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Just all kind of yumminess. Um, so I've only known Margot for a little while, but I know that her principles in how she practiced is really anchored. But I want to know when and how old were you when you realized that you were a medium?
I really got sporadic messages when I was starting transcendental meditation in the 80s. And one of the messages was to come to, to leave Colorado, leave teaching, I was complete, and add spirituality and God to my life.
Oh.
But they didn't tell me where I was going.
So before then, you were footloose and fancy free?
I seem to be. Living a moral life, but not having spirituality present that I knew about.
Wow. So that's kind of a big jump I mean, it's one thing to get into a spiritual church and to do some practices, but to allow a medium process to come through. Did it scare you?
Oh, no, not at all. It got me to San Diego, and immediately two wonderful mentors showed up. Kathy Hearn at Pacific Church of Religious Science. So I took her classes, Signs of Mind 1, 2, and 3, and then I was also taking classes at the Spiritualist Church, Fraternal Spiritualists, with Millie Landis. So I really dove in, which was nice. I was going to 2 churches on Sundays and classes all week.
Classes all week. Now, prior to that, were you going to church when you were in Colorado?
No.
Oh, my. See, so I'm saying you just jumped in.
I did.
Because it's an interesting thing. I think anyone can be a medium or a conduit, but it is the presence of listening. And to go from no kind of real spiritual practice to this, how did you find, your way? How did you make the next step to pursue it?
The classes were the ones that they just gave me the support for the spiritual being I knew I was, but didn't know I was. Becoming aware that I was a spiritual being, and literally classes, sometimes 4 days a week, and then church twice on the same Sunday. I mean, the angels were just gathering.
Oh, my.
And it gave me a sense of life supporting me and life supporting an expansion of us all, that it's a calling that you just can't resist.
I love that, because I know some people that are intuit and mediums, and sometimes the journey was really challenging because of, like always, because of self. They were afraid. And I love that you're saying that you welcomed this. Now, did you get voices? Did you see images? Were there dreams? Did you get letters in the mail?
With postage due. I do teach now that we get our messages through all our modalities. My first was visual, but my strongest is auditory. So now I hear spirit and I hear messages. And
is it
as
like
a teacher,
late at
though,
night that you hear him?
I get to hear them anytime. I just pick up the phone.
I love it. I love it.
But I have to have them all, because as a teacher, you're going to be teaching to people that are feeling a message or seeing it or smelling it, like smelling, hot bread. So I have developed all of them for that reason.
I love that, because sometimes the thought process is that it can only be heard or seen, but smell. It's one of our senses. Is taste involved in there as well?
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
So you've developed all of those senses. That's really beautiful and powerful. When you look at this journey that you've been taking, how many people have you helped along the way?
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. I don't know. I was ordained in 95, but I started giving messages in 84.
Wow.
So it was a long time ago.
Was that comfortable for you? Did you just step into it just like, okay?
It's more like it's a response and a calling, and you dive into it. You dive.
The first person, I don't know if you remember them or not, that you gave, you consulted with, you gave
a message.
A message. Were they looking for someone, or were they on a quest to find something? Did you see? Because sometimes with practitioners, the prayer that they're giving is the prayer that they need themselves. Did you find that with being a medium?
Sometimes I find that when I'm giving a reading, that what's happening with their grandmother, I can sort of perhaps even, embrace more healing. It's a wonderful experience to share, because you're sharing at such a spiritual level.
Right.
When you give a reading and when it's responded to with an openness. And then we can get into things like I've given messages from a grandmother and the other person's going, no, they weren't. And so we can get into don't freeze someone on the other side of the veil. We can get into you can forgive like 5% for a year and see where you are with the grandma. I mean, it's a fluid experience that I want people to know about with a reading. It's not she's here and then da-da. It's not flat like that. It's very fluid, and it's very about God's energy flowing in us and continually opening us up.
So you're really dealing with a lot of energy that's
yes.
coming through.
Yeah.
Now, energy. There have been times myself that I've had so much energy coming through that it just kind of knocked me off of my stance. Have you ever felt that where there's so much energy you don't know what to do with it? I guess for me, I didn't know what to do with it. I'm very auditorial, and I have not practiced or pursued. I've just kind of allowed it to kind of happen, but it is something that I think about. So with that amount of energy that's coming through, are you better if you're sitting, or do you like to stand and hold something? Or?
Those are interesting. For me, the classes help me know that all this energy is love, and that I am unlimited in my ability to have love. So I have never felt overwhelmed. Okay. I have one time I felt fear, and that is not something that's to come into this experience. So we had to deal with that with me. So certainly.
I love that you said that, because I think a lot of times people get confused in my thinking, and this is my opinion, that the energy of love is what is always being coming through. Mm-hmm. There is no energy of darkness that's trying to warn you or hurt you, or I don't believe in that. And I think that is the person themselves picking up their own thing. So I really love that you said that.
I did a reading for someone in Venezuela, and things are different there. And her son came in, and he had been murdered, and she wanted the name so she could go after them. And I was so relieved when he came in. He said, I can't do that. This conduit cannot give you something to continue violence.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
It was beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Wow. Being in that presence. Well, let me ask you this. Do you have to be present with someone to give them a message?
How?
I mean, could they call you on the phone?
Oh, yes, I do. Although I like FaceTime better than just a phone. But that's probably just me. Yeah. But if I can see someone, definitely the messages come through. Yeah.
Now, when you're walking around, do you get little hits sometimes like, ooh, something going on over there?
I try not to. Because, that's my energy. I don't want to dissipate it. But I do. That does remind me of something that's been happening the last 5 years. If you do see someone that reminds you of someone that is in spirit, that's dead, and you see someone on the street, perhaps that's an opportunity to send love to the one that you are reminded of. So that happened to me. My friend Bob, he crossed, and 2 weeks later I saw somebody, and I went, oh. And he said, hey, I'm saying hi.
Really? Wow. I had an experience after my mom made her transition. I was driving down the 210 freeway, and it was late at night, and all of a sudden, within my car, there was so much light. I mean, there was just light everywhere. And I had been thinking, I'm like, why haven't I seen my mom? Wow. She just left, and she's just having a good time. She's like, girl, I ain't got time to come back to Earth and play with you. And I was a little bummed. I was like, wow, I would think I would have seen her or felt her. Or I'd had a dream about my dad, which I was shocked, but nothing from my mom. And I was like, wow. So I'm driving and the whole car is just filled with light. And there was this beautiful feeling that I had. And honestly, I don't know who was driving the car at, at this point. I'm not sure, but I noticed every car on the freeway gathered around me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really, I was like, is this real? And that's one of the things, I guess, when you're so into what you can touch and taste and feel, what you call reality, you start questioning, are angels real? Is the energy of presence real? How do you answer that for people?
Well, there's something that identify as angel or God stories. I'll tell you the one that's always in my pocket. So I was in class my first year. So I had been receiving a few messages, but not much. And I had said, sort of almost subconsciously, well, God, I guess you can't give me somebody, a medium, to give me my mother's name because it's so odd. Because mediums always say R for Rose, or, you know. So I just put that restriction out. Went to this class, and this new student said, I think your mother's vibration is here. And I looked at her, it's like, okay. And so she said, was she ever a little heavy? And my mother was never heavy, ever. She was very skinny. So I said, nope. And she said, well, she says she's showing me her arm, and right in here, there's a dimple. My mother's name is Dimple.
Oh.
I even get, after all these years, I still get those. So that's the God story, the angel story I have in my pocket. And if ever I get into, I'm alone, or I realize God couldn't plop us down here by ourselves. We have all those on the other side of the veil that love us and send us energy and send us nurturing. And I put my hand in my pocket. I was at the dentist. They were starting to hurt me. And I put my hand and went, I'm not alone. And I could just hear her say, you couldn't go to the dentist without me. So I invite you to look for the times that you've gotten supported that you didn't make happen.
Right.
And remember those. Look for the support from the universe. The angels, everyone are conspiring for our good, and we can look for that and carry that in us so that as life happens, we have a whole support system that oozes God's love in us at all the time.
That's beautiful. I love that because one of the things when you have this restriction in your mind of the reality, if I can't touch it, if I can't see it, it's not real. As you told that story, the beautiful thing was, whoever is the medium, they don't know all of the steps. They're just, if they're open, they're just revealing. And so to her, it was a dimple that meant, oh, maybe she's heavy set. But when she said dimples, it was like, oh my God, there it is. That was for me. This is for me. Mm-hmm. You've mentioned a couple of times that you have a class. What do you teach in your class? And what is it called?
We have a class, and it's the first Saturday and third Saturday of the month with the angels. We call it With the Angels, Ancestors, and Guides. And the opportunity is to thin the veil. So we have the processes that are given to me at that moment as they look to see who's involved. And we have processes that we can do to look at what's going on with us and to invite someone from the other side. And I often say, instead of just knowing in your head, invite with your heart. What support can I get? And it can be a grandmother. It could be a hero. It could be someone that you want to practice some forgiveness with or ask for forgiveness with. So this class is it's been going on 15 years, so
Wow.
it's got something to offer you. And I really invite you. Right now we're Zooming, so that's a possibility. And I know we're going to be getting together on a three-dimensional time also in the future.
You know, with angels, ancestors, what's the difference between an angel and the ancestors?
The way I do it from the universals, from the understanding that we're all spiritual beings. Those are just words.
Okay.
So if I use the word angel, it could be, your mother.
Okay.
Because I may feel her angelic presence, but it's not necessarily somebody, with wings.
Yeah. Now that's another. I love chicken wings.
All right.
But, I was looking for pictures of angels, and there were a couple of things that struck me. One, that they were all, not all, but the majority either white wings or this steel gray. And they did have a couple of black, but mainly white wings. And I think some of the pictures that have been made about angels, for me, that's a very human picture.
Right.
And I think it gets people a little distracted thinking that, oh, nobody's shooting them with no wings flying around, How do you help people because, if they're coming to you, they're looking for help. But sometimes those things I think they block them being as open to receive. How do you make them feel more at peace to be able to accept that?
Number one, I don't do it.
That was a trick
conduit.
question, and she got it right.
I am a conduit of love. And whoever is coming in with love. And often people do want, especially in the first reading, they want to know about somebody that they've known from the other side of the veil.
Okay.
And so what I can do is receive messages about what they look like or something that helps them identify that person. And then we do go further because that's the beginning.
Okay.
But I'm here to thin the veil. So we
now,
go further.
When you say you go further, do you become a tool that they can utilize in going forward in their life?
I love that. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll use that.
One of the angels, we talking. That's a beautiful gift because I think there are a lot of different tools that we can utilize to help us grow up, to help us open up and wake up. So I think that's very, very powerful what you do. How would someone go about contacting you if they wanted to have a session with you? And what would that look like?
Okay. Here we are, sessions.
Yeah.
You may call me at 619-540-8747, or you can email me, margotalora@yahoo.com. The sessions really are about what your need is. I'm very happy to contact, grandmothers or children that you no longer are on the earth playing with you. It really is an opportunity for you to be supported. That's what I believe has gotten messed up in our culture, that the only people that were supporting us were men dressed all in black in these certain churches. And that's just very restricted view of the support that God has for us. So you may be wondering what to do with your life, and that kind of support can come in, or you may be wondering, have you been forgiven by someone on the other side? So it's an interactiveness that supports you and your own spiritual being, because sometimes you can't find your spiritual being because your humanness has got a little overwhelming. And that's what this is about, is getting you to the truth of who you are, which is a spiritual being with spiritual support. ready for you.
What would you tell a new medium, someone that's just discovering this expression, an intuit that not everybody was brought up in a living family that understood it or welcomed it, thought it was witchcraft, that it's a hooba hooba jeebie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, we still have people that think and feel that way. And so, what words would you give to them as encouragement to stay on that path or to at least explore?
To remember who you're working for and not let the humanness of, am I supposed to charge for these, or how much do I charge, or how do I, pay my utility bill and still be this? It's not an either or. If you're developing this gift, develop it with openness to see where it will take you. I've learned that so much. Trying to tell angels and tell God where I want to go is a limited experience. It limits me.
They don't listen well. They don't listen well.
They don't.
Thank God.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, I guess this leads me to this space here that the gift of medium of intuit that you so lovingly give, and you can just feel your light. Do you find that you have people that come up to you that don't know you and ask you things, and you get a quick hit for them?
I can. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. In a crowd that's noisy, it's harder because I am auditory.
Okay.
So, and I'm very welcome to. So it's if someone comes up, but sometimes I have to say we have to get away from this noise just a little.
So you can.
So I can be present.
Now I have found this. This is kind of interesting that sometimes in doing different workshops and things that I've done, all this mix of energy that it's you're involved in it. It's in you. It's on you. I know I have a thing that I do to help let that energy go and to shift my energy back into full presence. Does that happen to you? And if so, what do you do to get back grounded with your own energy?
For one thing, I wipe off, and then I like to chant.
Okay.
And I've done different chants. Also, if I just breathe, it helps. I was at a Silmar one year, and I couldn't. After the second day, I couldn't eat with 400 people anymore. That was just too much. So I just took my plate and ate outside. So I have to be careful because there is a lot of energy.
Yes.
And I wanna use it for God and not just for survival. So I'm a little careful.
I can understand. I shower. It helps me instantly to get back grounded. It was a friend of mine, a minister, that shared that with me. But I love that because when you are aware of your energy, you can feel other energy changing the room, and I mean it's like really palpable. It's like, woo.
Oh, yes. And I just want to say about the shower, that's a good time to talk to your mom.
No, really?
The shower is a great place because you got nothing between you. There's this water coming in. It's a great time to say, Mom, I'm sending you love, and I'd love to feel your love. And there's ways that sometimes hummingbirds come in or, butterflies. But that's a real good time. The shower is a good time to talk to those on the other side of the veil.
I love that. I love that. So I just have one more question I want to ask. I know people sometimes really get bound up and just twist and turn in so many ways with forgiveness. The power of forgiveness, we understand that it's about forgiving ourselves. Um, Emma Curtis, Curtis Hopkins made a statement that I love, that she forgives the thoughts that she has that disconnect her from God. I thought, oh, that's beautiful. I love that. In your work, I'm sure a lot of people come that want to do some forgiveness work. Is there something that you can share with people to start them on that path? I think where we are right now in the world, forgiveness is something that our hearts are calling to be open to. Forgiving maybe things that we said or that we did, or even maybe what we're doing right now. Is there anything that you can share with us?
Well, everybody is different.
Of course,
so,
of course.
So
I mean, I want you to heal the country, heal the world, doggone it.
It's such an opportunity now to forgive ourselves. It's such an opportunity to let go. So words like let go just come out all the time for me and for others. So I offer you the chance to expand yourselves. And that's coming from understanding that anything we experienced in our past, anything, is not to be brought forward and into our future created with it. The fact that, whether some violence in my life, yes, that is there. That is an experience that's given me a lot. It's not the experience I bring forward. It's the learning and the nurturing and the understanding I can bring forward. Let the experience stay back there. So if someone comes in and you're saying, I don't know if they knew I was there at the last minute, let a medium be there with you so that any judgment can be left in the back. Let it, don't bring it forward. It is not to be experienced over and over.
I absolutely love that. That is awesome. Bring the learning, not the experience. That is beautifully said. Wow.
And with that, I always ask for somebody in spirit to help me remember, because I may have something, but there's always someone that'll be with you, and remember that, and get it deeper and deeper in you. Sometimes it's my mother, sometimes it's other people, but go ahead and ask for support in that, and know that it's there.
That it's there. I love it. I love it. Wow, I can't believe the time has gone by so quickly. Oh my goodness. Okay, this just came in. So Venezuela, when you travel, you also are bringing the angels with you when you get on the plane and you go other places.
Sure. Hawaii. I went to Russia with Universal Spirit Center.
Yes.
And gave messages. They let me give messages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Russia was twice. And yeah.
I mean, I know the angels are everywhere, but I thought that's just really cool, to share your love and energy all over the world. Thank you for what you do and the beautiful way that you do it in. She trusted me. She was like, what are you going to ask? I'm like, that's not how I roll. That's not how I roll. And she trusted, and I've enjoyed this immensely.
Me too.
You fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So I hope you out there as well, because that's what Wednesdays are about. Higher consciousness, a conversation in the virtual reality, creating our new reality. And so I have been saying that every week we would step into a new practice to keep our heart space open as we move forward with really supporting Black Lives Matter. And last week we did daydreaming. I hope you did some great daydreaming. I had a couple of people contact me about that, and they were really excited. So I hope you had that beautiful experience. So this week I'm asking you to allow nature to be your guide. When I walk down the streets sometimes people think I'm crazy, but I will stop and smell flowers. I stop and I smell them. And just in that moment that you take to do that, I've had more encounters with people coming out of their house going, wow, and they love to show me other things. But it creates this opening. And even if no one says anything, you recognize yourself that you're communing with God. And that once again reminds us that there's only one. There's only one. So this week, it's about connecting with the flowers in nature. Spend some time smelling. Don't just look at them. Smell the flowers. People don't mind if you smell them. Don't cut and tear people's flowers. But smell the flowers and just see where your heart space is, how it opens you up, and what new possibilities come through. So as we get ready for our conscious giving time, I am so grateful and thankful for all of you, for Universal Spirit Center, for this divine place and space that allows each and every one of us to be who we are as we are and to journey into the new we are that is unfolding. So know that I love and appreciate any giving that you give on Wednesday and on Sunday. And if it is on Wednesday, just put a little note because they want to know. It's good for the records just to keep track. Everything, thank you, God, for everything. Just feel that as you're writing your check. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything. Maybe you're on PayPal. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything. Or maybe you're on the website. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 You can also text it. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Oh, yeah, you got to feel that. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And we think of the angels and the ancestors and all the divine spirits that are here with us right now. I'll see you next Wednesday. One life living, just you and me. One life loving as you and me. One love loving as you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One life sharing as you and me. One life loving as you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. And I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna ow! One life living as you and me. One life loving as you and me. One life loving as you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One life shining as you and me. One life loving as you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. A playlist. I just wanna shout. One life living as you and me. One life shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. 'Cause God is all there is.